All right, today's video is going to be a little bit more on the positive side. So thanks for everybody with their comments, etc. from the video yesterday. If you haven't checked that out, go check it out. Today, positive vibes, right? So we've got a bunch of leaked information out there, data mines, etc. We're going to look at new cards, spotlights, bundles. We're going to give our initial hot takes on these. There are some cards in here that I'm going, WTF? Like, what am I missing here? As always, comment below. Shout out to Snap.fan for getting the data mine information out there. We've got some information on the December season pass. It's going to be Sebastian Shaw. We've got the Hellfire Gala. These cards are all phenomenal. The variants, etc. They look super, super sharp. Big fan of all of those. I'm going to want every single one, not going to lie. So let's see. Just some artwork here. You can see some information. These are the new cards coming. We'll get to those in a second. All right. So the new modified cards, what we got. First, Havoc. He's a 2/1. After each turn, you lose 1 max energy, and this card gains +3 power. Okay. I think Kraken Knoll said this best in a different chat I was talking to him with. It's a card. I tend to agree. I have no comprehension why I would continually or want this card. I mean, can I get a Electro on reveal multiple times, then destroy it? Also getting Psylocke before I play this? Because max energy, I mean, that's like the thing you want. Like, yeah, it's great that this card gets more power, but one card, a little bit more power. All right, Shang. Okay, you know, Shadow King. Just no. And we'll go over the series of these in a bit as well. Celine, a 1 -1. At first, I was kind of like, but on reveal, afflict the lowest power card in each player's hand with -3 power. This is a 1 -1. It's a great tech card for sure for affecting your opponents, and I think this is going to pair really nicely with Junk Decks and Annihilus. If you're not that archetype, you know, I don't know if you're really going to want to do this to yourself. Firestar, a 6/3. On reveal, each card you played last turn gains this card's power. I think this could be interesting. It seems like it's a poor woman's Elsa Bloodstone, but without the restriction of filling up the lane. It also requires for you, assuming you're playing these cards on 5, to play a number of cards. So I don't know. I'm a little torn on this one. It's interesting to me. At first, when I saw this, I was like, I don't really love that. I'm sure there's a way to get it to be a little bit better, but unless you're playing a ton of cards the turn before, I mean, maybe you get your Mysterio out there, thinking about the metas we've got now, you know, and that gets additional +3s. All of a sudden that Mysterio gets huge. So you're basting it. You're also maybe Elsa-ing it, but then you can't be really Elsa-ing it because then it's, you know, the lanes are all full. So anyway, I don't know. It's got some interesting potential, but anyway, so Sebastian Shaw, this is the season pass card for December. 3/3. When this card permanently gains power, gain +2 more power wherever this is. So this is interesting to me. I think any sort of time that you're going to maybe do things like Ironheart or your Blue Marvel gains. We mentioned the Elsa Bloodstone gains. I mean, maybe you play this one on 5 with Firestar. I mean, that's +2 more. So it's definitely interesting to me. Mer Island. I think those sort of things, yeah, like for sure. Now, can it be Shadow King to initially? Yeah, that would be terrible. But it's an interesting card nonetheless. I like it. I want to get it. Obviously, I'll buy the season pass. You should always buy the season pass. Blob, 6/3. On reveal, merge your deck into this and gain its total power. Ongoing, can't be moved. So this is interesting. I think this is our first on reveal and ongoing card. Now, you're obviously going to typically play this on 6. Now, when it says merge your deck, I assume it takes everything out of your deck and merges it into this. And that's just it. It's done. But, you know, this can get Shanged. It can get Shadow Kinged. Also, if you play this late, then how many cards you got in your deck left? I'm assuming this is your remaining deck. I wish it actually said that, but as you can tell, this has got a lot of words already on it. So that's probably why they took out remaining. I get it. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, because you need a lot of this other stuff. Can't be moved. I mean, that's cool, but maybe it's better to clarify that it's the remaining deck, or maybe people just learn. Anyway, I think this card's interesting, but imagine with, is it Sakar? I think it's Sakar where it pulls the card on. Can you imagine if it actually pulls everything you've got in your deck and plops it there? It's like, well, that could be good, but if somebody's got a tech card to counter that, ooh, I mean, ongoing, if it was can't be moved or destroyed, that's dope. That way only Shadow King can change it. Martyr got nerfed down to a 1/4. This is a November card. We already knew about this. I think it was a 2/6 before. It jumps to a location that loses you the game if possible. I'm a little torn on this one. I think it's interesting, and I think it's definitely a nice filler card. I mean, I would love to pair this with Elsa. I would put this in my Elsa Bloodstone deck for sure for a late turn card where 1/7 is a filler and it can't go anywhere. Oh, wow. That's absolutely phenomenal. Gladiators also got nerfed down from a 3/8 to a 3/7. This is a solid card. It adds a card from your opponent's deck to the side and destroys it if it has less power. Now, I think this is still probably fine. I mean, more than likely, it's not going to pull a lot of high power cards, but I think 8, now that I think about it, well, if he pulls, I mean, if he pulls Living Tribunals, if it pulls Infinauts, that's the stuff where it gets a little bit problematic, but you've got to pair this card with Shang, so I'm not going to go into that. But they've got some information here about the JSON files. The cool thing about this is it shows what I believe to be future cards coming. We got Baron Zemo, Cannonball, Cull Obsidian, Hope Summers, Mockingbird, Namora, Nocturne, Pixie, Red Hulk, Sage, Sasquatch, US Agent, Valentina, and White Widow. So something to look forward to in the future. Now, one of the things I want to talk about here is the spotlights. Actually, they have that a little bit below, so we'll get to that in a second. One thing that they do now have is they've got the artwork for the Nico Minoru cards, and I'm not going to go through what each one of these are. Check out my video from the other day. We'll do more on this in the future. But they've got the artwork on the spells for these cards. So I'm assuming when this is in your hand, this is what's going to show up, or it's going to, when you lay it on the field of play in whatever location, that it's going to show this so that you remember, oh, okay, this is what it is. I don't know, obviously, because we haven't seen it yet. New locations, Castle Blackstone. The player winning here gets +1 energy each turn. That's interesting. That's going to be a hotly contested location. Wow. I like that. That's a good one. I like that location. That's a good one. How do I feel about it? I think it's a good one. White Palace, copy the highest cost card in your opponent's hand. Okay, so that just when it procs, you just get it. That's also interesting. All right, I like both of those. All right, so the spotlights. We're gonna go through these. I'm gonna look at them. I've got a graphic for stuff like this that obviously I share. Like and subscribe if you want to check those out in the future. So the first one, which is interesting because you would think this would be the new season pass week. But right now it's showing Blob in the first week of December. So, okay, so it's Blob, Stegron, and Jeff the Baby Land Shark. It's a good week. Stegron I don't like. It's a Series 5 card and another Series 5 card. Jeff is one of the best cards in the game. So if you're really into getting these cards, you know, they've got 2 cards that you might want to get. Stegron, you're probably going to want to avoid that, to be honest with you. But the variant for it, the 3099, is pretty sexy. So I dig that. We'll see how that week is. I mean, I hate skipping on Series 5 weeks. I feel like I've always got to get those. But, man, I don't love the aspect of some RNG with Blob. Honestly, I just don't. Firestar, and actually before I jump through these, I just remembered, because as I'm saying Series 5, they're all Series 5. So we just went through all those. Right now they're all showing as Series 5, and it's showing that Sebastian Shaw and Blob are going to be in the same week, which I'll get to in a second. So as I'm going through these, understand that they're all Series 5. All right, so that helps us sort of rank these a little bit. Series 5. Firestar, also Series 5. Again, she was an interesting card. Man-Thing does nothing for me to pull in the spotlight. Ravonna Renslayer absolutely does nothing for me to pull in the spotlight. She needs to be a 2/3. If she was a 2/3, I'd consider it a little bit more. Man-Thing, I think, is a good card, but I think it's a niche card and it's a Series 4. You should spend tokens on it. So when I look at this as far as spotlight pulls, I don't love Firestar. As a content creator, I will open for her so that I can showcase. If I was advising someone, I'd say, unless you have a very obvious spot that you want to do for this, or you play a deck that allows you to play a bunch of cards often on turn 5, then I would not necessarily stress about getting that card. Havoc. Legion's great. He doesn't get played much. Nico Minoru is a, honestly, I'm already lowering her on my spotlight tier list. I think she's an interesting card, but the RNG, this is an easy skip week for me. I hate to say it. Like, if you don't have Legion, I don't think I'd spend spotlights with these 2 other in it. Legion is not a good enough card to carry these other 2. I love that Nico is going to be in there, you know, shortly after October. Great. That's fine if you miss her then. I don't think, unless she gets some serious changes, that she's going to be desirable or overly desirable in December. I think the people who are going to want to get her are going to get her in October. If you're a newer player, you're not even seeing this video because I'll do another one later. You're not going to go back and watch this. But in December, I don't think you're going to do this because I don't like Havoc at all right now. Celine, I think, look, Lady Duststrike is not a great card. I think that Celine is a card you're going to want. even if you're not a junk player, I think I would like to have this just in case junk does get to ever be meta. With a Nihilist Man thing, I think there's going to be things out there. Black Widow, I think that is going to want to have this card in your arsenal, your collection, etc. Black Knight also is a card that I really like. So I think that generally speaking, this is a week you're going to want to pull and just hope you don't get Lady Deathstrike. So when looking at the spotlights that we've got going from here until this one, that's where it's going. These upcoming ones, you know, it's saving, thinking there's some decent ones here in October. Black Knight, Werewolf by Night. Again, Nico, I think, is one that unless you really like RNG, you might want to think about skipping. I just think that's going to be, again, as a content creator, am I getting it? Absolutely. Somebody who maybe is a little bit more limited, I might advise against it. Then we've got the month of November. Gladiator, I think, is probably a lot of must pulls. Martyr, use your tokens. I just don't think that's a great card. Again, I think it's going to be fine for Elsa, which is awesome. Annihilus, unless you're a junk player or a content creator, I'm not sure I'd pull for that. It's a good week with Nebula and Silk. Those are good cards. But unless you're thinking of playing Annihilus or junk, I don't know. I just don't see it. So then you get into December and it's going, all right, well, Celine, sure. Blob, maybe. You know, run with Infinite and hope. I mean, but the problem is once it's in your hand, it just merges the deck. So, you know, if Blob ever became meta, people are going to start running Crystal. You know what I mean? It's like pull someone's card, like let them pull their cards. You want them to draw their cards so that Blob has limited cards to draw from. So I don't know. I'm a little torn on him. I'll see. But yeah, so nothing that jumps out at me as being super crazy. Again, I'm a little confused about what's happening here. This might be the first time we get 2 new cards in the same week, but it sort of is what it is, I guess. They've got to have a season pass, and are they not going to have 3 new cards? I mean, what were our other weeks? Yeah, we had other months where it was, you know, the season pass card and just 3 new cards. So I don't know. Maybe they'll drop one of these cards off in December. I would probably recommend taking Havoc off of this, moving Blob a week, Firestar a week, and then reworking Havoc completely. Again, I might be missing something there, but I think there's opportunities to rework at least one of either Havoc, Firestar, or Blob to think about a little bit. All right, now I didn't go over the patch stuff and I don't want to, but one of the things I do want to say is I need to take full credit for the card quality preview. I've mentioned this in my videos before. When previewing cards in the shop, bundles, etc., players will have the ability to view a card at any quality level. I've been preaching this for a while because I think it's important that you see the animations of a card and know it. They've done it. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for me having the idea. It's all about me. I came up with this. You're welcome. So like the video. It's my birthday month and I'd appreciate it. I also am interested to see how this earn the rare and super rare avatar stuff goes. It's pretty cool. The location emojis, all this sort of other stuff. Again, I don't want to go through these. I think that it's going to hit some of the balance updates as we scroll down. So we'll hit that briefly. We got the Conquest December variant. All right, that's cool. It's fine. All right, so bundles. Variants. Black Knight looks hot. Blade hot. Echo, pretty cool with Dan Hip. Ghost Spider one's pretty interesting. Howard the Duck. Does that card exist? That must be the Gala Iceman. I like it. We talked about that. Nebula one I like. Celine, pretty good. Some pretty fire Celine ones here. Spider-Ham. Oh, I remember when he used to be played all the time. I don't see him much anymore. All good variants. So that's a really cool looking Zero variant. Also Bloodstone, same. Falcon. That must be the Gala or the Hellfire Gala. Like it. Havoc. Cool variants, but again, the card is just, I don't know. I like that Invisible Woman variant. That's really looking pretty sexy. That Jeff variant is pretty hilarious. Mojo one's pretty creepy, but I like it. Mysterio variant I like. Scarlet Witch, pretty good. I like that Scarlet Witch Midnight Suns one. Silk, solid. More Hellfire Gala variants with the Bishop. That's looking real good. Captain America's from the Hellfire Cyclops. Green Goblin, Red Goblin, Hulkbuster. Is that Dan Hip? I think it is. That looks pretty good. Jean Grey. I think that's Hellfire. Yeah, lots of Hellfires in here. Magic Moon Knight one. I don't know. There might be some lore behind that one that I don't understand, but it's just like a bright thing that I'm like, I don't know if I like that. All right. What else pops? Sebastian Shaw ones popping up. They're all seem okay. Nothing that's really loving. I like that Spider-Man one. That's pretty cool. Storm one. I love that. That's super sexy. Wolfsbane, kind of creepy looking. These Darkhawk ones, I dig both of those. Those are really cool looking. That's the Enchantress one we talked about before. That's actually a really good Enchantress one as well. Ghost Rider. I always like to comment on these with the comic covers on those. I really like those. I think those are really cool. Also this Khazar one, I don't know. This is the first one that I recall that has a real cartoony look to it. I really like this. I hope they do more of these. I don't know if there's some like this in game. I'll have to look around, but I really like that man thing that looks, oh, it's Dan Hippie. Namur, a Century, we talked about that. Shang's cool. Silver Samurai Dan Hip, cool. White Queen, Hellfire Gala, that's super sexy and fire. Same with this Black Panther one. That Claw one's okay. MODOK one, I actually really like that. That's cool. That Professor X, all these are good. This Doom one's really good. Hellfire Doom, I like it. Firestar variants, I like those. One of these is probably a Spotlight. If I'm guessing, it's this one, but it was probably up there, or maybe this one. But that's Hellfire. I don't know, maybe not. Again, comic book covers. I want this really badly. I am thinking that the animations on this are just so cool. And then it finishes off with Thanos and the Midnight Suns death one. Got a bunch of titles. I am no chance of going through that. Cardbacks, Sebastian Shaw, Hellfire Club, like it. These were the balance updates. Again, this is sort of the end of the video, so I'll say them a little bit. I think it's fine. The Mojo text fixed to make it full, so he works whenever it's full. Great. Awatu, I'm with Alex on this one. Why? It's nerfed. It's not a buff. Just, what are you doing? Mantis, this feels sort of weird, but I get it with these other ones with this Cable and this Maria Hill. I love the Maria Hill change, the 1-2. Man, I actually didn't mind Cable at 2-2. I felt like it was decent. 3-4, I get a little, I don't know, maybe. I'd probably rather play Coulson, honestly, than Cable, but we'll see. I mean, maybe if it was a 3-5, is that too much? I don't know. And then they've got the new event, which we covered the other day, and that's it. If you want to see the bundles, we're going to cover that in tomorrow's video. So again, please like and subscribe. The video was almost 30 minutes long. I was like, I need to break this up a little bit. So we'll do the bundles tomorrow. So to me, the biggest thing out of this is the new cards coming, the season pass with Sebastian Shaw. What do you think of these cards? I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below, mainly about this, I think, and the spotlights. Those are the two biggest things from this. Bundles for sure, but I mean, those are still 2+ months away, so those could all change dramatically as could the cards, frankly. But I think generally speaking, the December bundles are definitely something to look out for. I'm looking forward to seeing these cards in game, mainly just to see how they play, not because I love them. But comment below. Again, birthday month, please hammer down that like button. Very much appreciate it. I'd love to hear all of your thoughts all over the place. Thank you for making it this far in the video. I know it's a long one, but there is a ton of information here that I wanted to cover. So until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.